Oh my, so I'm tired. It's been a long 2 days of traveling for me and packing because I'm now here. And yeah, so I was on a 15-hour car ride. I got to see, I watched on my phone the, the, the bulk of the races this weekend. And then I got to see the finish of the last, the majority of the Cup race. I actually got to watch on TV once I got here. So thank you that I got to see that. Martin Truex Jr. won, but we'll get to that later because we've got a bit of a warning incoming rant, a bit of a thing to talk about because allegedly Todd Gilliland won this race. Did he win the race? I don't know. I didn't see it. And let's talk about not seeing it, because, yeah, coming to the restart, 2 to go, as pace truck pulls off, and it takes along with it the TV feed. We get the glitch out screen, which is kind of stereotypical at this point, and then we get the Fox Sports logo with about a minute and a half-ish of dead air. And then we get some radio style broadcast talking about how it's the longest any KBM driver has been without a win in his career. But that was and it's yeah, that's about as long as a Kyle Busch Motorsports driver could survive at Kyle Busch Motorsports without a win. And then he delivered a line that wasn't actually caught on TV, but it was caught by the media, and I saw it on Twitter. I don't remember who actually posted it or something, but it was something like, "Yeah, Kyle Busch, you can stay in the motorhome." So, yeah, let's talk about those comments, and I'll get back to the feed cutting out, but he actually, even before I even heard that quote, he was in the media center post race, doing some victory lane interview, or not even victory lane interview, but just some winner interviews and whatnot, for NASCAR.com and whatnot, and he actually walked back the comments that he made in that heat of the moment, saying that it was heat of the moment. Not that he takes them back or that they aren't what he would have said, that he thinks he deserves. And I even think he deserves a bit more respect from his team owner, even as a Kyle Busch fan. I mean, yeah, I like Kyle Busch, but I still think Kyle Busch does deserve, or should give his drivers the respect they deserve. And at least, I get it. Todd Gilliland had been there for almost 2 years without a win. And that's where I think you can start to question it. But, back at Pocono, he blasted both drivers there, which Harrison Burton, I definitely think, doesn't deserve that yet. Because he hasn't nearly been there. He hadn't been there more than a year at that point when the comment was made. So, yeah, so we had that to talk about, and then back to the feed cutting out. So we had where we had the radio style thing talking about how it was the most starts any KBM driver had ever had. And then we get the picture back. We see Todd Gilliland doing burnouts. We get that for about 10 seconds. And then we cut it straight to and then it goes straight to college football, which we kind of knew that it was running into that window because of the red flag and then the extended caution for Jennifer Jo Cobb's brake line going away. Or not brake line, but some kind of axle problem that left grease all over the track. So that took 15 laps of caution to fix. But the fact that we lost 2 laps of the finish, and they didn't even use their 10 seconds of before throwing to the Iowa State game. Like before they didn't even show like the replay before throwing it to the Iowa State and Oklahoma game, which, to be honest, I about as far away from those states as you can get. I don't really care about those games. So, in all honesty, I could care less about what happens in those games. I want to see what happened on the finish, and it was actually kind of interesting the fact that Harrison Burton basically ruined his own chance to win the race, brought out the caution on the white flag lap, and basically just kept Chastain from getting a shot at Gilliland in turn 3 by that caution coming out. So, Burton basically gave up his shot to win a race because he went and gave it to because he spun out and gave it to Gilliland, which, I mean, that didn't look like any kind of teammate thing. He was just trying to take the win, and then he was either, like, he knew that by going for the win himself, if he couldn't get to the inside fully of Chastain, he could just rough Chastain up to the point where Chastain would never get a shot at Gilliland in 3 anyway. And he spun himself out anyway and got the caution, which ultimately gave the race to Gilliland. But again, we didn't get to see any of that because, no replay. And then the football commentator gave a fair response, like saying, "Oh yeah, we're sorry about about you guys missing the finish or whatever." So he gave an okay response. I feel like I'm curious to see though when FS1's back for Phoenix in a few weeks. I want to see what they do to remedy this, because I feel like their actions for Phoenix and Homestead the rest of the year, I think that will show if they are truly sorry or if they truly care about what happened this week. I feel like what they do in those 2 races will prove whether they do or don't care about what happened this past Saturday at Martinsville. So, I mean, it was an awesome finish. I was invested into watching the race. I'm really glad Todd Gilliland got his race win. I like seeing him race, and it's always nice to see a younger driver get into victory lane. Not that seeing Crafton get into victory. Oh wait, he hasn't gotten into victory lane yet this year. Yeah, but so that's the truck race pretty much in a nutshell, and I hope some of you guys found the thumbnail kind of funny, because I've already made the thumbnail because I knew what I was going to talk about going into this video. I worked on that while I was watching the Cup race. I had to grab a few extra pictures afterwards because, of course, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. Like, I couldn't exactly do it how I wanted it. But yeah, so we had that. Then the Cup race happened. Denny Hamlin went from the pole. We didn't see a huge amount of passing. We saw basically whatever car was out front was always seemed to be it just happened to be that the fastest car was out front. Denny Hamlin started the race up front, had a great short run car, led for a while, and then just kind of faded as the short run turned into a longer run, and Truex was able to get by, and Truex just had a dominant car. He led, I think it was like 360 laps or something like that. I mean, he led an enormous amount of laps here tonight. In the Cup race. Of course, this is going to be like a Monday race review for you guys. So, so yesterday, for you guys that watched the race, we saw Martin Truex Jr. and William Byron for the majority of that race were just kind of putting around single file. We saw quite a few incidents that just kind of made it like, oh, is Truex going to get the win absolutely robbed from him, or is he going to actually be able to hold off and win the race? He held off and he won the race. But incidents such as Kyle Busch and Almirola, I don't think Almirola is the right side of what he... Because, I mean, he started the incident and then blamed it on Kyle Busch, which, I mean, yes, Kyle Busch, and he even admitted this in post-race interviews, that he took a jab back at Almirola. Yes, he did. That's what happened. Almirola started it, and Kyle Busch went to get another jab back at him, which I wasn't sure at the time, but of course with post-race interview, it was confirmed that it was an intentional jab back at him. And yeah, they handled it. They said their words to the media, and that, I think, is the right way to handle an issue. And then there was, well, I guess we gotta talk about it, because Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano, I don't particularly care for either of them, they aren't my favorite drivers. I think I slightly prefer Hamlin, mainly because he's got that Toyota connection, and I personally like Joe Gibbs Racing as a whole, the way they've got the team right now. And I know I've got a lot of people that don't like the way that Joe Gibbs Racing is right now, but I like Eric Jones, love Truex, love Busch, and Hamlin, he's pretty good too. And he's definitely one of the more successful guys there. I mean, he's got 2 Daytona 500s, so, I mean, no one can deny he's talented. And, oh my, they got in a fight. And when it comes to fighting in NASCAR, I don't think that is the right way to handle the issue. But, oh my, is it entertaining. I don't watch for the fights, but when they happen, I do enjoy them. I do enjoy watching them fight it out and trying to figure out where it all started. And Logano just cheap-shotted Hamlin there. I mean, he went, smacked him on the shoulder, and then as he was walking off after asking Hamlin if you want to go, and then Hamlin said, sure. Then he goes and hits him in the shoulder and walks off. Hamlin tries to follow to okay, you want to fight? You just asked me if I want to fight. Let's handle this here and now if we were going to handle it like this. So then he went after it, and then pretty much immediately got swarmed by Joe Gibbs Racing crew guys, NASCAR officials. Joey Logano's crew guy, one of Joey Logano's crew guys, absolutely seemed to just tackle him to the ground. And it's this is actually building on something I didn't actually mention from Kansas last week, where we had a fight between Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick. And as soon as Reddick started to fight back, when Cole Custer came over to talk to him and put a hand on his shoulder, a lot like Logano did, but this was at the start of their interaction, Reddick saw that as a threat. He went and started trying to tussle back, don't actually know what to call it, and then immediately, there were 3 Stewart-Haas crew guys basically trying to take Reddick down, including one that had him in a chokehold, and there were no penalties for that. I don't know if that's what made Logano's crew guy feel like this was okay. But I feel if there's a pit lane fight like this, I feel first off, the crew guys should if anything, be trying to de-escalate the fight, not tackle Hamlin to the ground and continue and escalate the fight. Same thing that happened last week. Of course, there was no fines or penalties last week to any of the crew guys or anything, which I think that whoever it was that got the chokehold on Reddick definitely should have gotten a fine, but that happened. But I feel the NASCAR crew guys, the NASCAR officials, that are usually they're just kind of checking lug nuts, which there were a lot of lug nut violations tonight. But I'm not going to go too much into that because I feel this is already a long video. But I feel the NASCAR official guys that are usually there just checking lug nuts, let them deal with the fights, because I feel dealing with a fight for a NASCAR official that's used to just checking lug nuts, breaking up a fight is way more entertaining for them. And as long as they can do it, and they are not making it look like one side or the other. A Joey Logano, a Penske crew guy, could be trying to de-escalate the fight, but if he's laying hands on Hamlin, that could still end up escalating the fight, or at least looking bad if you've got Penske guys trying to restrain Hamlin. And same other way around with if you've got a Joe Gibbs Racing guy restraining Logano in that situation. The NASCAR guys, they are a neutral force, and there's plenty of them down there. I mean, when I was at Bristol for the Xfinity race, there were NASCAR officials all over the place, just kind of not doing much because there isn't much to do on the for a NASCAR official except for checking lug nuts, kind of just looking around, making sure there's no fishy business going on with the race cars. But it's like, yeah, that kind of stuff, that's way more entertaining for them to do, and it would give them something to actually do on the pit road. So I think that is how those kinds of fights should be handled. I think overall, I think Logano, if he really wanted to go and throw the first hit, he should be ready to just kind of brawl it out completely, rather than just trying to do that and then walk off. I mean, I know I said some things, just kind of off the air, not really on a. I don't know if I said them on my broadcast tonight, but I definitely think I used some words that were a bit too strong for the situation. But I definitely think that Logano could have handled this more maturely, but it's also better than the incident between him and Matt Kenseth, or the multiple incidents between him and Matt Kenseth that in the 2015 race, which actually was what I got a lot of vibes of, was 2015 Martinsville from tonight, which, I mean, hey, it happens, and that was but I definitely don't think that fighting is the right way, but boy, is it entertaining, and I'm sure from the 20% ratings increase last week, I think this race is going to get a pretty good TV rating as well. I mean, I haven't seen the TV ratings yet, but, I mean, that's going to, I'm sure the fight last week in the Xfinity race, I'm sure helped the Cup races, can help the Cup race get up to 20% more, like, viewership and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised to see, now, I would be surprised to see, because this is NASCAR in 2019, but if we saw another 15, 13% increase, I wouldn't be that surprised, because we had the pit lane fight, we had all the drama from the TV cutout of the finish, and everybody checking to make sure that the finish actually happened this time, and the pit crew fight last week. I mean, and a great barn burner of a race last week. I mean, last week was a great race. This week was an awesome race. I mean, the package definitely could be improved for Martinsville. I feel like one thing for the short tracks that I would like to see them try, and this is actually something I haven't mentioned before, so I feel like I can mention it now. If they went with the composite bodies that they have in the Xfinity and trucks that allow them to beat and bang without it actually causing tire rubs every single time they make contact, I would love to see that package brought to tracks like Martinsville, like Bristol, some of these more beating and banging tracks. Allow the drivers to beat and bang without ruining each other's race cars. Like, go with the composite bodies from the Xfinity series for the short tracks and the higher contact tracks. Like, leave it the way it is for don't touch Talladega's, Daytona's package, and the mile and a half and whatnot. Those races are already great. But I think that would be something they could experiment with on the short tracks, like the 1 mile and downs, along with the higher horsepower that they already have for those tracks. I'd like to see them try that, because we saw a couple times where guys would make light contact with each other. I think it was Kyle Busch and the school bus for Ryan Newman made contact with each other, and Newman ended up with a pretty bad tire rub. I'm just pulling up the results right now, but Martin Truex Jr. won this race, third short track win of his career, third short track win of the season. Great for him. William Byron, crushing second place finish there for William Byron. I wanted to see him win. I wanted to see a first time winner, but we didn't get it. And MTJ, I already said I'm a pretty big fan. I like him. And man, that auto owner's car looks so good. Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney rounded out your top 5. Nothing really too notable there. I mean, Denny Hamlin, again, was involved in the fight. Ryan Blaney was kind of in the mix all day for a top 5, and he's really kind of making himself look like a contender to point his way to to Homestead, potentially, if he can pull these kinds of days off again. Then we have Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Logano. So Logano, even despite the problem that he had with Hamlin, still gutted out in the 8th place finish. Larson, and then the school bus got a top 10 for Ryan Newman. David Reagan got 11th. Hey, final Martinsville start for David Reagan, and he got 11th. That's pretty good. Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, and actually, I kind of mentioned it with like the Kyle Busch incident, Kyle Busch arm accident. They looked exactly like the finish from 2017, and then they mentioned that it looked like the finish from 2017. So, kind of found that funny. And then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was your 15th place finisher. Other notables that were outside the top 15. Corey LaJoie brought out the Mystery Machine and was able to solve a 18th place finish. Jones got to a 20th place finish, matching his car number, along with Paul Menard, who also matched his car number in 21st place for his final Martinsville start, or probably final Martinsville start. I can't imagine he would come back for just a Martinsville race. McDowell started 5th. My boy McDowell in the root beer car, 23rd. Not really where I wanted to see him finish. Matt Crafton in his first cup, or in his first full cup start. I mean, he subbed for Paul Menard a couple weeks ago, and now he's subbed for Matt Tiff this week, but he subbed from the start of the race, which he hadn't actually done in a cup race since, I believe, 2015 when he subbed for Kyle Busch. And then we got guys like Alex Bowman who were involved in wrecks. Suarez was involved in a wreck. Clinton Boyer, Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, and Jimmy Johnson were all kind of involved in that big parking lot style pile up. But yeah, so when it comes to like the point standings though for the playoffs, I mean, MTJ has nothing to worry about anymore, and for the guys that do need to worry, actually Blaney is only 15 points outside the cut line right now going into this next race. Chase Elliott though, 44 points out. He's in a must win. He's got to win either Texas or Phoenix, and I think this deflates the hype train that everybody's been on for the last 4 or 5 weeks since he basically crashed at the Roval and won the race. He probably will not advance to the next round of the playoffs based upon that finish. I mean, 44 points, and I don't see him winning Texas or Phoenix. Larson, I also don't think is going to get there, so I think it's going to be now down to basically the 3 Toyotas are essentially locked as long as Kyle Busch doesn't have a bad day at either of these next 2 tracks. And then you've got Logano, Harvick, and Blaney battling it out for the final spot, which I think that could go in either way. I think Blaney's definitely on the back foot, but hey, he pulled out a top 5 at his worst of the 3 tracks, I would say. I mean, statistically, I think Phoenix is actually a little worse for Blaney, but Texas is one of his best tracks. I mean, he led over 100 laps there in 2017, I think it was. So yeah, but I would say my final 4 is probably going to be the 3 Toyotas and Kevin Harvick still, I think. And then when you get to Homestead, I think just it's an anyone can win type of race. So, but yeah, so thank you guys for listening to me ramble on for probably like 20-25 minutes. I don't know how long this video is, but thank you guys for sticking with it. If you guys did enjoy, please hit the like button on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new and want to see more, and ring the bell so you guys don't miss a single episode of Running with the Pack, which I do multiple episodes throughout the week. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, links down below in the description to get some shirts, as well as my Patreon link are both down there in the description. So if you guys want to support the channel, there are options down there as well. So thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy whatever you're doing with the rest of your Monday. And then remember, 7:30 tonight, I will be broadcasting the Misfits Racing League National Series at at Auto Club. So make sure you guys tune in for that in a couple of hours. Bye!